I wish my money had a mind of its own. Maybe I could get it to stay home. I wish my money had a mind of its own. Now my last week's wages you've already spent. Now I can't even pay the rent. I wish my money had a mind of its own. Cause when I'm getting old and gray and I don't bring home no pay, maybe, baby, you will scream and shout. Maybe get mad and then move out. Everything you buy on time, just cause you spent my last dime. I wish my money had a mind of its own. And I don't bring home no pay. Maybe, baby, you will scream and shout. Maybe get mad and then move out. Everything you buy on time, just cause you spent my last dime. I wish my money had a mind of its own. When the hell's bad day, I wish my money had a mind of its own.
All the gold in your mountains ain't worth the silver of the sea, the silver of the salmon, and all that they bring to me.
As these kings swim through these streams, passing all death in its eyes, he lives on, he dies young in this life.
The salmon keep on giving, they make those folks a living. And if they dig that hole, they'll blow it all away.
'Cause this mine is not a pebble, it's a giant rolling stone. Stone that's going to crush us unless we leave it all alone.
Stop your shouting, 'cause we'll never sell our souls. Fire on the mountain, Lord, the trials and the tolls. You can stop your shouting, 'cause we'll never sell our souls. Oh no, the lies you've sold, we'll never sell our souls. Oh no, the lies you've sold, we'll never sell our souls. Lord, the trials and the tolls, we'll never sell our souls.
a flower, there's an hour. Every season, there's a right and a wrong. There's a right to be found in your heart. If you'll come to me, if you just open up your heart, open up your heart, you will find. When you just took me with your eyes, took me by surprise, took me with your smile at first sight, at first sight, at first sight. Every moment of a lifetime has a meaning, of the dreams that come true. To live a dream here with you, come and find it with me. If you just open up your heart, open up your heart, you will find. Oh, you will find in everything that love with me will bring. What you want from me inside of you, inside of you, inside of you. If you just open up your heart, open up your heart, open up your heart, and you will find, you will find, and you will find.
Misery, they say, loves company. Whoa, whoa. But if there's only you and me, then there should never be no more misery. So won't you take hold of my hand and walk with me through this land, and there won't be no more, whoa, whoa, no more misery.
us who simply do not enjoy the barbarism of rolling up our shirt sleeves and digging into a meal as if it were an excavation site. This is Sebastian Cabot, with a suggestion for those of you who enjoy a touch of dignity with your dinner. Take your regal appreciations to the Crow's Nest of the Captain Cook Hotel. Besides a lavish dinner and wine menu, the Crow's Nest offers a kind of aestheticism that you simply don't often find in the colonies. Naturally, the prices are a bit higher than the local cafeteria, but then you don't have to carry your own tray either.
Alaska was once called Icebergia, but familiarity has melted the fiction of the ice myth, and many have been attracted to it. Near Anchorage is one of the longest ski lifts in the world, and nearly at sea level. Alaska, a land of surprises, winter or summer.
Sunset, Sunday shining bright, woodlands, flowers, lakes and streams in Alaska, the land of our dreams. Come look at this land, it's waiting for you. You see the mountains wide, Korea sunset, Sunday shining bright, woodlands, flowers, lakes and streams in Alaska, the land of your dreams. Alaska, the land of your dreams.
Blanket toss and dance. With this ritual, which is older than North America's written history, the Eskimos marked the end of the whaling season, part of a culture almost lost. Like the Eskimos, the Tlingit and Haida Indians have lost much of their culture. But today a revival is taking place. Totem poles, so often misunderstood by white men, are again being carved. and have become a symbol of the revival of their culture. In times past, although every man in the Tlingit and Haida clans of southeastern Alaska was potentially an artist, only the most practiced among them became professional carvers. The tradition of these people, who had no written language, required that important events such as the completion of a new house, successful hunting expeditions or war parties, birth or death, and a reconciliation between two feuding tribes be given visual statement. Totem poles were carved to make this statement. Thus, carving a totem pole is like writing a book. Tall, sculptured columns, often more than 60 feet high, these unique caricatures of birds, animals, and unrecognizable creatures are carved nowhere else in the world. And with few exceptions, they are understood nowhere else in the world. Totem poles have attracted the attention and aroused the curiosity of all who have seen them. The poles are not easily read. Each has a story, which begins at the top. The carved symbols of ravens, killer whales, eagles, and man tell those who recognize the figures what that story is. Here is one pole with a particularly interesting story. 3 women from a neighboring clan married 3 slaves belonging to Chief Shakes. After the 3 couples lived for a time in his tribal house, Chief Shakes demanded of the chief of the neighboring clan payment for the keep of the 3 women. The chief refused to pay, saying he no longer had any responsibility for the women since they had lowered themselves by marrying slaves. After repeated demands for payment went unanswered, Chief Shakes had a ridicule pole carved with 3 frogs upon it, a direct insult to the neighboring chief. But no payment was ever received. The simplest and most common totem pole in Alaska is the mortuary pole, which contained a crypt for the ashes of the dead. Most of the clan in times past resided in a tribal community house. These were decorated with heraldic screens and house pillars, which told stories similar to totem poles, but were used either as building supports or simply as decorations. These pillars are more than a century and a half old. Since the carving of a totem pole was like writing a book, the erecting of that pole was like publishing that book. The erecting of a totem pole was a cause for celebration called a potlatch, which was planned well in advance, often months ahead. Guests from other clans were invited. The potlatch was usually conducted in the tribal house and consisted of dancing, storytelling, feasting, and gift-giving. The potlatch often went on for days. As in the case of the totem pole, the potlatch was not understood by the white man. In Canada, it was outlawed for years, and in Alaska, it was discouraged by missionaries and officials. In Kate, Alaska, the first authentic potlatch since 1904 was held in the fall of 1971, and it had much meaning to the Tlingit and Haida Indians. In their cultural revival, the potlatch is as important as is the totem pole. Through the potlatch, the Indian people can carry on their traditions that have given them pride and dignity. And the elders can pass on to the younger generations their dances and stories. This is the heritage of the people who for thousands of years were masters of the wilderness of the Pacific Northwest.
And the tribal brother-in-laws. Now we will be turning it over to them. They're the ones going to do the way that grandfathers used to welcome people. There will be dancing.
Turn up your radio just a little bit louder, because I want you to listen well as I tell you this story about Black Fog Hell. Truck wheels, rolling through the night, nothing but a blanket of ice and fog inside. If there's a rig without a radio coming down that hill, we'll meet head on in the middle of Black Fog Hell. Well, I never had a CB in my rig, till a friend here a while back said you wish you had one if you ever ran into that fog that's thick and black. So I took his advice and it saved my life, and that's a story I'm here to tell. She was slick as glass over Thompson's Pass, 40 miles of Black Fog Hell. Well, I was glad to be rolling south and to leave that slope behind, but it's a mighty rough road when you pull a heavy load up that old Alaska pipeline. I stopped at the bottom of Thompson's Pass and ironed up all the way around, but I didn't notice till I started back up the grade that black ice covered the ground. Then the fog rolled in and covered that ice and made it look a sickly black. Oh, I knew what I was in for, but there wasn't any turning back. Now, black ice by itself is bad enough, but at least you can see uphill. You spread a layer of fog on top of that ice, and you've got Black Fog Hell. Truck wheels, rolling through the night, nothing but a blanket of ice and fog inside. If there's a rig without a radio coming down that hill, we'll meet head on in the middle of Black Fog Hell. Though both of my stacks were blowing loud, the night was strangely still. Then came a call, ringing wall to wall. Look out, all trucks downhill. Get off to the side, 'cause I'm taking up the whole darn road from rail to rail. I'm sideways and I'm sliding into that Black Fog Hell. Well, I called back for his 20. He said he's about 5 miles away. And I knew there was a turnout just about 2 miles upgrade. Now the question was, could I get there before I met him coming down? I said a silent trucker's prayer, then I put the hammer down. Truck wheels, rolling through the night, nothing but a blanket of ice and fog inside. My radio let me know there's trouble on up that hill. Now I've got to get off of this road and get out of this Black Fog Hell. I put the pedal to the floor and the engine roared and the chains were chewing on the ice. I hate to drive fast on a crooked mountain road, but it just might save my life. Well, the fog was thinning out by now. Then a few curves up the road, I saw Big Jimmy truck come sliding down the ice, and she was trying to stay ahead of her load. Well, I just got my rig pulled out to the side, and he went screaming by. His face was pale and his teeth were clenched, and there was terror in his eyes. And he almost had it straightened out till he made that fatal mistake. It must have been his first time driving on ice, 'cause he slammed down on his brakes. And he was sliding just like a big sled as he went out of my view. There was a hairpin turn just down the road, but there wasn't a thing I could do. The deep snow 1,000 feet below buried him when he fell. Another helpless victim of that Black Fog Hell. Truck wheels, rolling through the night, nothing but a blanket of ice and fog inside. Because my radio let me know there was trouble on up that hill, I'm one of the few that ever lived through Black Fog Hell. Truck wheels,
Sometimes I still think about you. Wanted to hold you close. Deep down I knew I'd be fine without you. Now I've gotta let you go. Here I am sitting, thinking, wishing things will be a little bit different. Codependent man on a mission, trying to close the space you've been given, but now the loving just ain't hitting. We fell asleep, woke up with different eyes, not meant to be, cause it just wasn't our time. So now we compete, telling these little lies, like we on both doing alright, at least by ourselves. I hope you found your own shine and not from somebody else. I'm sorry I needed so much time, so much help. I should've really tried to do it by myself. You could change your smile, you could change your name, you could change your whole goddamn face, but it won't change just how you feel when someone that you love says they just need space. Sometimes I still think about you. Wanted to hold you close. Deep down I knew I'd be fine without you. Now I've gotta let you go.
Said she just needed space and she got that. Said she just needed change and she got that too. Now she running out of lanes on the tarmac. She think flying away will solve the pain from the get bed. But I get that. No shit's been circling this damn drain and it's gone bad. Another race in your day, but we don't really run track. I understand all them hard facts. Took her longer wait just to get that. She won't find her heart when she gets back. No longer picking up the phone, so don't get mad. It's been bad, this pen drags on longer than what we had. Crumpled up dreams in a book bag. Mr. Understood, I guess that's what I'm good at. Just hoping for the days that you move back, that you'd move back.
Sometimes I still think about you.
Said she just needed space and she got that.
Wanted to hold you close,
And she got that too.
deep down I knew I'd be fine without you.
Fine without you.
Now I've gotta let you go.
On behalf of the state of Alaska and the Alaska Marine Highway, welcome aboard. My name is Captain Bob Johnson. In the next few minutes, we'll be showing you a program about Southeast and the cities in the Southeast that the Alaska Marine Highway service. Before we show this program, I would like to acquaint you with some of our safety features and safety requirements aboard the vessel and other facilities that are available to you. The United States Coast Guard does not allow passengers aboard on the car deck while the vessel is underway. However, from the Seattle to Ketchikan run, we have made arrangements for 3 car deck calls a day. The time of these calls are posted down at the purser's desk. From Ketchikan north, passengers are only allowed on the car deck while the vessel is in port. Should for any reason you have to visit your car, you've left something in it or this nature, contact the purser's desk and they will have a guide take you to the car deck. While walking your pets, we request that you keep them on a leash. For your convenience, we have posted smoking and non-smoking signs aboard the vessel. We request that you honor these signs. Passengers with children, we request that you know their whereabouts at all times for their own safety, and that do not allow them to run aboard the vessel. Should we encounter any ocean motion while on this voyage, it is requested that you use the handrails, watch for swinging doors, and move about as little as possible. In the unlikely event of trouble, the general alarm bells would be rung. We would inform all the passengers of the situation, and any directions would be given by the vessel's PA system. At least once in each week, we hold fire and boat drills aboard the ship. This is to check the equipment and keep proficient, and also to satisfy Coast Guard requirements. The Alaska Marine Highway vessels are registered in the United States. They meet international safety standards and are maintained fire standards for new ships. We caution you to at no time tamper with any of the ship's safety equipment or gear. To do so is a violation of federal law and holds a very heavy penalty. For those passengers in stateroom with children, you may, if you desire, get a child's life jacket from the purser's desk. The rest of the passengers are on-deck passengers. Life jackets are stowed throughout the vessel at convenient locations, and in an emergency, they would be provided by the crew. Once again, welcome aboard. And now for your viewing enjoyment, we present Sights and Sounds of Southeastern Alaska.
There's the land. Have you seen it? It's the cussedest land that I know. From the big, dizzy mountains that screen it to the deep, death-like valleys below. Some say God was tired when he made it. Some say it's a fine land to shun. Maybe, but there's some as would trade it for no land on earth, and find one.
It's a painting almost too awesome for the eye. Its textures, color, and forms are the stuff of dreams. It's the Alaska of the common concept, the myth, the mystery. And it's an Alaska that does exist. But in reality, there's more than the myth, much more. There's life in Alaska, and the rhythms of its nature are vibrant. From all that ice and all that snow comes the water, and the stream, where the life cycle begins. There is poetry in Alaska that cannot be put into words. With nature herself as the choreographer, that poem is better expressed by the dance. The abundance of wildlife, the true and sustaining connection to the origins of this great land. A land with a 600-mile-long panhandle of lush forests, ice-choked fjords, countless islands, and age-old glaciers, all known as Southeast. Southeast Alaska, with modern cities that are gems still in the cutting. The largest of the cities in Southeast, and the capital of Alaska, is Juneau. And from Juneau, these are the sights and sounds. Each year, tens of thousands of visitors from the lower 48 and from the world over come to Southeast to see for themselves the wonder that is Alaska. Without question, one of the most inspiring and pleasurable voyages anywhere on Earth is the 3-day journey on the Inside Passage, weaving through the islands of the Alexander Archipelago, a voyage of discovery to witness the still untouched natural beauty of Southeast Alaska. Rain or shine, clear or misty, the pleasures of the view of the Inside Passage are never diminished as mountainous islands emerge from the sea. Each of the main cities in southeast Alaska is equipped with a modern and versatile harbor, easily capable of accommodating world-class cruise ships. On almost any summer day, one of the busiest harbors anywhere very much appears to be Juneau, Alaska. As many as 4 passenger ships a day will set anchor in the Gastineau Channel. Juneau is a city just a little more than 100 years old and has grown steadily since the days of the gold rush. The recently reconstructed Douglas Bridge links the Juneau mainland with historic Douglas Island. You won't see many roads in southeast Alaska, but you can't miss the highway, the Alaska Marine Highway. In southeast Alaska, there's ferry service to nearly every community, large or small, on the map, served by the white, blue, and gold fleet of the Alaska Marine Highway. And the larger ships of the fleet offer service to and from Canada and the 900-mile distant Seattle, a pleasant and economical way to discover southeast. But there are roads in Juneau, like the 4-lane Egan Expressway lined with the waving flags of 50 states. In historic downtown Juneau, you'll see sights like the Red Dog Saloon, next door to the famous Alaskan Hotel. Mingled with the historic sights are modern shops and delightful restaurants for visitors and residents alike. A downtown where free enterprise is alive and well. Juneau's biggest employer, the state. Just go north on Main Street. Since 1906, Juneau has been the capital of Alaska. And here in the Capitol building, the Senate and the House of Representatives convene to legislate the laws of the nation's largest state. And just walking distance away, in a mansion built at the foot of a mountain, lives the governor. On 5th Street, not far from the Capitol building, you'll find the oldest original Russian Orthodox church in southeast Alaska. It was constructed in 1894. The historic home of Judge James Wickersham, one of the first proponents of Alaska statehood. The ruins of the A.J. Mine. There was gold in that hill, and there's some there still. You can pan for gold at the Ore House on Thane Road and enjoy a salmon bake or delicious barbecue. On a nice day, the place for sun and change of pace in downtown Juneau is the Marine Park. The sea breeze and the company make relaxing in the park and visiting a pleasant pastime. One of Juneau's newest additions, the beautiful Centennial Hall for concerts and conventions in this growing city. In Juneau, you're never very far from a glacier, and just 12 miles north of the city center is the only drive-up glacier in the world, the Mendenhall, where you just might find the perfect ice cubes for your Alaska-sized beverages. While in southeast Alaska, you may want to visit other cities like Ketchikan, the gateway city, noted for good humor and abundant rainfall. But there's more than rain in this thriving, friendly community. In Alaska, fish is king. In Ketchikan, fish is also chum, coho, pink, and chinook. Salmon, that is, caught here and distributed throughout the world. Just outside downtown Ketchikan is Saxman Totem Village, with as impressive a display of totem poles as you will ever see. These totems, with great skill and attention, have been produced to symbolize historical events and spiritual beliefs of the Southeast Alaska native culture. Walking among these totem poles, the largest collection in the world, one can't help but feel the profound spiritual influence of the native peoples on this great land. When you see this perfectly formed and now extinct volcano, Mount Edgecombe, you've arrived at Sitka by the Sea. At one time the capital of Russian America, Sitka was the site where Seward purchased Alaska, a city of historical and religious significance. Its beautiful Russian Orthodox church houses a priceless collection of religious icons. Midway between Ketchikan and Juneau is the city known as Alaska's Little Norway, Petersburg, not far from the neighboring community of Wrangell. About 90 miles north of Juneau lies the gold rush city of Skagway, looking much today as it did in 1898, when thousands of men passed through to struggle up the Chilkoot Pass in the quest for fortune. Skagway was a town the gambler Soapy Smith had up his sleeve. Some say he still does. When you fly into Juneau, you get a great view of a harbor full of boats. If you feel the urge to get on one of those boats, there are many available. The destination is always exciting. If sport is what you have in mind, be assured, not many get away. In Juneau, a hub of summertime activity is the Merchant's Wharf, where you can see halibut filleted, crab cooked, and people enjoying just being there. One of the exciting, delightful, and truly memorable side trips available to you in Juneau is the flight over the ice cap to Taku Glacier Lodge. Here's a look. As your plane takes off from the busy Juneau harbor, you can't help but be filled with the anticipation that something special is about to happen. Remember, this is a bush plane, and the bush is where you're going. Oh, no need to worry. He's a very good pilot. He'll clear the point. And there it is, the ice cap. And complete amazement is a common first reaction. It's a mass of ice which spawns dozens of glaciers, 1,500 square miles of ice and snow, in many places over 4,000 feet thick. The rock pinnacles you see are mountain peaks called nunataks, landmarks for a pilot flying over a sea of brilliant white. On your way to the Taku River Valley, the home of Taku Lodge. Taku is a Tlingit Indian word meaning where the wild goose sits down. And the Taku River is where you land, directly across from Hole-in-the-Wall Glacier, one of the few advancing glaciers today. At Taku Glacier Lodge, you're served a smorgasbord meal that's as delicious as dining can get, and you can get as much as you want. Salmon baked over an outdoor alderwood fire, Alaska baked beans, sourdough rolls baked fresh daily, several complimentary side dishes, and for dessert, old-fashioned oatmeal cookies. An unforgettable trip. And from Juneau, there are other extraordinary trips. Northwest to Glacier Bay National Park, with the excellent chance of witnessing a glacier calving huge chunks of ice into the sea. Or go in a southerly direction to Tracy Arm, as magnificent a view of glaciers and floating ice as you can see anywhere. And for the more adventurous, there are the rapids of the Mendenhall River. In safety, you can ride the sometimes raging glacial waters flowing from Mendenhall Lake to the Gastineau Channel. There is winter in Juneau, and when it snows, everyone enjoys it. From all over southeast Alaska and the Yukon, skiers from beginner to expert fly into Juneau's busy international airport to take advantage of the powder snow slopes of the Eagle Crest ski area. And a downhill race is the ending verse of the sights and sounds of Juneau and southeast Alaska. A verse of poetry very much in motion.
There's the land where the mountains are nameless and the rivers all run God knows where. There are lives that are erring and aimless, and death that just hang by a hair. There are hardships that nobody reckons. There are valleys unpeopled and still. There's the land, and it beckons and beckons, and I want to go back, and I will.
Eight stars of gold on a field of blue, Alaska's flag, may it mean to you. The blue of the sea, the evening sky, the mountain lakes and the flowers nearby. The gold of the early sourdough streams, the precious gold of the hills and streams, the brilliant stars in the northern sky, the Bear, the Dipper, and shining high, the great North Star with its steady light, o'er land and sea, a beacon bright. Alaska's flag to Alaskans dear, the simple flag of our last frontier.